The examiner does not care if you've done a 6-point check, a 3-point check, or a 1.20 check. The examiner cares that you have spotted the danger and that you have pulled off safely. I am Josh, the driving instructor. I've been a driving instructor for almost 10 years now. I've made over 500 driving test related YouTube videos. I've spoken to numerous driving test examiners, and today I'm going to show you exactly what they are looking for when you are moving off on your driving test, pulling over on your driving test, and how to turn left and right on your driving test correctly. Because these are the skills the examiners are going to be judging immediately. When you're moving off from the side of the road, the examiner doesn't care that you've completed your 6-point check around the car. They're checking whether or not you actually spotted the danger, and then that you pulled off when it was safe to do so. Now the problem is when you're so focused on doing your 6-point check routine, like an owl, your focus is so much on the routine that you actually don't spot the danger that you should be looking for. Normally, it's going to be directly behind us or coming from the side, because that's the side the cars are going to come around. So normally that should be a sufficient place to check before moving off. If for any reason you suspect something is coming from that side, of course, you should check that side for the situation. Now, when you're pulling off, looking should be the final thing you do before actually pulling off, because after all, how quickly can a situation change? How quickly can a car appear from nowhere? Pretty darn quick. So a poor example of pulling off would be checking my central mirror, checking my right mirror, checking my blind spot, forgetting that I'm not in gear. Oh, okay, checking my gear, try and get my feet ready, and then pull off. No, that's been too long. That's been at least 5 seconds. Could something have come out of one of those driveways or a car flying down the road from another junction? Absolutely. Those checks are out of date. When pulling off, you need to make sure that you pull off within around 3 seconds max. A good example of pulling off would be quick scan of the mirrors. What are we hoping to see? Nada, absolutely nothing. Quick blind spot check, still nothing, move away. Now you notice in that demonstration, I didn't signal. Now in this situation, if I was on my driving test and I was asked to pull off, I'd be checking my central mirror and my right mirror and my shoulder. And I cannot see anything in any vicinity around me. So again, I wouldn't be marked down if I didn't signal when pulling off. Nor would I be marked down if I chose to signal even though there was no one there. The only thing an examiner truly cares about with your signal is, was it timely and did it help someone? If there was no one to help, they're not going to be bothered about a signal when pulling off. The really important part with pulling off is making sure that no one around us has to change speed or direction. Now, I don't mean easing off the gas ever so slightly, I mean having to physically press that brake in any way. So we're going to look in our mirror now. So this would be a bad time to pull out because this car's already doing 30 miles an hour, so it's going to be hard to get up to speed. This next car, however, looking in the mirror, I've got plenty of time to get up to speed before he gets to me. Now, if he does get to me before I get up to speed, that is a problem. But has he? No. Now, during your driving test, the examiner is going to expect you to be able to pull over on the left, and they're going to ask you at least 3 times, including an angled start and a hill start. And the main things the examiner are looking for are, again, making sure you've had a look. What's around us? Are we going to affect anyone? And if there is anyone around us, have we let them know what our plan is? How do we let people know what our plan is? A cheeky signal. After that, the examiner just wants to know that we're choosing a sensible place to pull over, we're not braking too hard and last minute, and we're positioned within a drain's width of the curb, approximately ½ a metre. You don't want to be rubbing your 400-pound alloys along that curb, and you definitely don't want to be going up that curb. Never go up the curb unless the examiner tells you otherwise. So an example of pulling over on the left would be here. I'm going to pull up before this car, so I'm checking my central left mirror. I've already decided where I'm pulling up. I've signaled to let people know. I'm braking gently. I'm putting the clutch down 2 car lengths away. And then I'm just, as I'm nice walking speed, I'm judging my distance to the curb. Now you'll notice I didn't go too close to the curb until I got to that walking speed. Why? Because it's far easier to judge your distance when you're going slower, particularly a walking speed. Now, a convenient place to park is going to be where you're not double parking with something parked on the other side of the road and you're not parking in front of someone's driveway. A pretty obvious way to check this is not parking in front of any drop curbs. Also, avoid bus stops or any sort of road markings. I say that, but there is a test route round here where they ask you to pull up in a broken white line cycle lane. So if they ask you to pull up in the cycle lane, that's okay. Now, ideal world, when you have pulled over, you would always have a reset. Imagine you were getting out the car and going inside to your friend's house. What I mean is you turn your signal off and you pop it into neutral. That's just because what people tend to do, and it has been known, is they leave their left signal on. Their brain's fried because they're on a driving test. They also leave it in third gear because that's the gear they chose to pull over in, and they try and pull off. And when they pull off, they stall. And they look down at their gear and they think I'm in first gear, and then they stall again and they stall again and they stall again. They also pull off with their left signal on because they can hear the signal and their brain's telling them I've already signaled off, but you haven't. So the safest bet is to always reset the car. Now, when you're turning left on your driving test into a side road, there's a few things the examiner is going to be keeping an eye on. The first and obvious thing, again, as in every situation, is making sure that you're checking your correct mirrors. If we're going left, we want to check the central mirror, see what's behind us, because we're going to be slowing down, and check the left mirror. Just double check there's nothing sneaking down your left side. Again, what would we ideally want to see in those mirrors? Nothing, but chances are you're always going to have something behind you. From the driver's perspective, turning left, this is quite a big wide turning, so I'm checking my central left mirror. I'm going to signal, so hopefully they're going to back off, let them know I am going to be slowing down. I'm gently braking, changing it to second, clutch coming up, and I'm using my lane. I'm about 19, 18, this will do just fine, looking round and keeping my distance from the curb the same all the way. Of course, we don't want to signal too early when there's previous junctions, because if someone pulls out of those junctions into you, that's going to be a bad day. But we also don't want to leave it too late. An ideal world is going to be a minimum of 5 seconds. This is going to give anyone that's messing about with the radio or shouting at the children in the back long enough to think and realise, I need to slow down. The problem with that is it can depend on the road you're turning into. Unfortunately, when we turn into a side road, there is no one size fits all, as the same with everything else in driving. So we're going to be taking the second road on the left here. Now the problem is these junctions are very close. So I'm checking my mirror, I can see a car. Now I'm going to choose to signal earlier because these junctions are so close together, there's no one coming out of here. Now I've got my signal on, I've slowed down lots, and it's a really tight corner. So for this one, I'm actually going to put my clutch down so I stay on my side of the road and keep on my side basically. And that's okay, because what's the priority at the end of the day? Stay on your side of the road. Now what people do often do is they often signal before checking the mirrors. Now if you do that, you will still pass your driving test, although the examiner may have a little word with you. But don't panic if you do it in the wrong order. After all, the wrong order is better than no order. What the examiner really doesn't care about is, are you turning left at the same speed, same gear, same position? They actually only care about whether you can see round the corner and whether you can control the car and stop the car if there is something round the corner. They of course also care that you're staying in the road and not entering to the pedestrian area, which is the curb. Now the best way to hold your position when turning around a corner is hold your speed. Don't slow down during the turn, otherwise you'll often go too close to the curb, and don't speed up during the turn or go too fast, or you'll end up on the wrong side of the road. Now when turning right into a side road, in the ideal world, every road would have a marked area, a protected lane. Because those lanes are designed, as the name says, to protect you. Meaning we get out the way and the cars that want to carry on can carry on past us without hitting us. We're not going to delay them. We've got our own private area and they can carry on. Unfortunately, that is not the case for all right turns. Now right turns are a little bit more tricky because we have to give way to oncoming cars, which means again, you have to learn to decide when there's a space and when there's not. And when you're thinking about a space, all the examiner really cares about is the same as that person. Are you going to slow them down? If the answer is no, then it's a good enough space. When we're turning right, we do not want to automatically stop to be extra cautious if there's clearly a gap. All you're going to be doing is delaying everyone else on the road, and that is not what a normal driver would do. And what does the examiner want to see? They want to see as normal driver as possible. Straight off the yellow bollard, we are going to be turning right. So I'm checking my central mirror, my right mirror, my signal, and I'm looking for a lane. Have we got a lane? Yes, we've got a central lane. So my next focus is to get into that lane. I've dropped it into second as well. There's oncoming cars, so I'm coming to a gentle, well, not quite stop walking speed. I've got plenty of time to go before this van gets to me. Now protected lanes are really good. They give us a place to go out the way of the other cars and we can chill and decide when to go with the oncoming traffic. They're a really good thing to have. When there's not a protected lane, that adds an extra level of pressure because we now know we're blocking the cars behind. We're going to be turning right here. So we've done our central mirror, our right mirror, we've seen a car, we've got our signal on, 5 seconds at least, and there is plenty of space, so I'm not going to need to stop. I'm hugging the white line on the right side. I'm even going into the zigzag area. I'm getting my turn perfect for my wing mirror to line up with the central white line. Bam. And this is how it looks from the driver's seat. I check my central mirror, I check my right mirror, I pop a right signal on, I adjust my speed, get it into second gear, wait for this car to go by, turn onto the left side, but then I have to swan neck onto the right side because there's a parked car there, which is perfectly fine to do. When we get to the end of the road and we're turning left, you've got two different types of junctions. You've got a closed junction and you have an open junction, and you have to treat them slightly differently. An open junction is a lot more like a roundabout, meaning we don't necessarily have to go into first gear. You only need to go into first gear if you can't see. Now, an open junction just means you can see much earlier than when you get to the end. If you can see earlier, then you don't need to slow down as much, which means you don't need to go into first gear. Closed junctions, you can see far less, meaning you're not going to have very good vision until you get close to the very end, which means you're going to need to go a lot slower to give your brain time to decide on whether or not it's safe to continue. Now, when you get to the end of a road, all the examiner really cares about is your speed correct for the style of junction? And unfortunately, not all junctions are the same. The reason the speed to the junction is so important is because that's what's going to give us the time to look and decide whether or not it's safe to carry on. Because the worst thing we could do is pull out and slow someone down. And that is the #1 reason for people failing their driving test in the UK, by the way, and has been for the last 10 years. The main message of this is the less you can see, the slower the car should be. So we're getting to the end of the road, we're checking our central left mirror. We've done that, we've popped a signal on, we're holding the middle for now. Clutch is going down 2 car lengths away because I can't see by this point. If you can't see properly within 2 car lengths, that's going to be a first gear job. Then I put my clutch down, walking speed, looked both ways, lots of space, not cars. Boom, you carry on. What does a giveaway actually mean? And when I say what does a giveaway mean, I'm mentioning giveaway because that's what you're always going to get at the end of a road. A giveaway means continue if it's safe to do so. It does not mean stop cautiously when it's absolutely clear. But you're not going to know if it's clear or not unless you approach at the right speed. Now, when we're turning right, that exposes our car to more of the road, meaning we're more likely to affect vehicles from both directions, which means we need to be looking much more than if we're going left. We also need to judge if the gap that we're taking is going to be big enough to not affect the cars coming up behind us from the left side of the road. What the examiner isn't checking is actually how many times have you looked left and right and have you stopped just to be safe. That is completely irrelevant and not normal driving. Again, we've got a closed junction and we're turning right, so we're going to need a first gear. We can see it's closed because we can't see very well. So I'm putting my clutch down, I'm going to first gear, I'm hugging the white line this time. And I'm looking and I'm looking, and there is a car coming. There's a space after this car. Now, what's really important is you turn the wheel and you stay on the wrong side of the road for a little bit longer than you think. And what I mean is, don't go straight, aiming ahead, which is what lots of people do when they're learning to drive, because you're going to go straight at a curb. And if you're going straight at a curb or a brick wall, what's your brain going to automatically tell your feet to do? Slow down. But you're turning right and you're trying to get up to speed. So do you want to slow down? No. So you're going to get up to speed much quicker if you take a more gentle angle, a more curve, and stay on the wrong side of the road just a few seconds longer. The other thing that's going to massively help with your driving test is just practicing the area. So you practice the challenges, you get the pattern of where the roads are, where the shops are. Shops equal people equals slowing down. Shops equals cars equals slowing down. Bus stops equal buses. And the only way you're going to learn those is by practicing some of the routes. If you're looking for a route in your area, have a look at my app. It's in the link there, or it'll be in the description below, and that'll give you a good taster of what to expect on your driving test and some of the challenges and help you pick up those patterns. Now, at the end of this road, we're going to be turning left, and hopefully by now we can already see this is quite an open junction. Look, there's the end of the road. We can already see all the way to the right there, those cars coming there. We can't see quite as much to the left, but that's okay because we're actually turning left, so we don't need as much decision making. So we're in second gear, we're looking, there is a van coming, but I'm already 10 miles per hour, which means I can afford to get my speed up reasonably quickly. I'm already at 30 miles per hour, so I haven't slowed anyone down. Now you do still need to have a look left, because if someone's coming on the wrong side of the road or anything like that, that's their priority, not your priority. And they might be coming on the wrong side of the road because they might need to be overtaking someone, which would be a problem for you. Now, a lot of you guys will get very confused when we get to crossroads and traffic lights, and you won't think about it until the lights go green and you're already there. That's a problem. The basic rules that we need to know with crossroad traffic lights, or just traffic lights in general, is when your lights are green, you can always expect the oncoming lights to also be green, and the side roads will be red when yours are green, which means we're turning right, so we're crossing onto the wrong side of the road, therefore we have to give priority to any oncoming cars. Now in this situation there is a car, but he's turning this way, so he can turn in front of me and there shouldn't be any problems. If, however, he was going straight on, I would continue to the middle and wait there until he was out the way and there was a space. The other big issue people have on the crossroads is they'll wait behind the line if the lights are green until the road's clear. That is not a good thing to do, because the lights are going to change back to red and you're still going to be behind the line. And that covers what the examiner is looking for when pulling over on the left, moving off, and your basic left and right turns. If you do those, you should not have any problems on your driving test when being asked to do any of those maneuvers. In the next video, I'm going to cover roundabouts, meeting traffic, and faster roads, and how to deal with those on your driving test from the examiner's perspective. Now, if you are struggling with something on your driving test you want me to make, please let me know in the comments below, and share this with anyone that has their driving test if it helps you. And if you need a route, don't forget to click on the link in my app. I'm Josh, good luck everyone. Bye.